This gives you the...
Oh my goodness. My software just decided to crash. I don't know if I'm still alive. If anyone is here, can you please let me know if we are live or not? Something just crashed and I don't know if we are. Oh, here we go. Okay, we are live. Great, excellent. Hopefully everything's fine. Just something on my end is broke. You guys don't need to know about the details. Right, lads and lasses, of course. Hello, guys. Thank you, guys. We are live. Thank you for confirming. What a great start to this shambles of a live stream, and indeed shambles of a game that we just watched. Then, well, half a game anyway, or maybe at a push 2/3 of a game. Welcome, guys. The Post-Mortems. The Premier League season's over. But the Post-Mortems are not. As we go deeper into the competition, I want to do one for every single England game if I can, to be honest, because I'm obviously an England fan. Maybe we'll do some for the non-England games as well. Probably not, but maybe. There's always the potential. So for the next sort of like hour or so, dependent, just because I did say to Miss Nobbs I wouldn't be that late. Let me just text her now. Sorry, tech difficulties done at midnight. That okay. Sorry. Right, just taking Miss Nobbins. Yeah, so what I want to discuss today is obviously the game. The key storylines therein. Well, as with our City Post-Mortems, what were the key storylines? What went right? What went wrong for England? We can also talk about the other games as well. If you guys have got any questions or thoughts throughout, feel free to pop them in the chat. Good to see we've got Ivan, who says at least you won. Absolutely. Thank you for confirming we're live. Fusk as well. Thank you. King Joshua saying we're good. We are live again. Says from doors to doors. Absolutely. So let's talk about that England game. Let's do it. We'll start with the first half because that's probably we should probably start at the start, shouldn't we? You'll notice that the title of this stream is, I actually got it wrong in the first instance, but it's now more questions than answers in terms of that England performance. Now, coming into the tournament, I like to think I'm like a very optimistic England fan because I get behind the team just like when the tournament starts because it's fun to do, so obviously I like to be positive. But obviously based on like past friendlies, etc. It's all right, Matt, don't worry. That's absolutely fine. I can't remember what the outburst was, but I forgive you. Yeah, going into the tournament, I was like deflated, to be honest, because I thought the squad we picked was wrong. I thought Branthwaite should have gone. I thought Rashford should have gone. I thought Grealish should have gone. I didn't think that like you need 3 strikers, for example. I thought this was a little bit silly. It was obvious that Gareth Southgate was going to play, Trent in midfield. I worried he was going to shunt Foden out to the wings and make him useless and everyone would hate on him, not actually really understanding if that did happen, why is that happening, and like putting the blame solely at Foden's door, which I didn't think was fair, given how good he is and how good he was this season, obviously. I was worried about all of those things. I was pleasantly surprised and blown away, genuinely, by how we set up in that first half. Now, oh no, we'll get into that later. Now there were still flaws, of course there were. However, I was just so positive and buzzing about how we set up, and we'll get into exactly what happened there. I don't know if it's just like It seems to be whenever I do an international tournament streams, I don't know if it's just because like England fans in general are incredibly negative, or if people who aren't England fans are just like really, also really negative, but the vibe in my chats is very different compared to the City Watchalongs, compared to England Watchalongs. It's very unusual. And when we were watching that first half, so many people were down on that first half, saying how England were actually quite bad and poor. And I just don't see it. And I've rewatched the first half. That's also why we were slightly late starting the stream, because so many people were telling me, the first half wasn't that good. What are you talking about? X play was bad, Y play was bad throughout the whole game, not just the second half. I was like, right, maybe I'm like being blinded by hope. So I rewatched that first half, and no, I saw the same. I saw what I saw in the watch along. England were good in that first half, and the main reason why we were good in that first half, mainly for stuff like the first 30 or 35 minutes, if we're being exact, was because we set up in a way I don't think I've ever seen Southgate set up, unless I'm missing something. He's certainly never done it at a tournament before. Can't recall him ever doing it in qualification or in a friendly. If he has, then maybe he has, but we set up how City set up, to be honest, guys. We set up in basically a 3-2-2-3. For the most part, there was a change, because right at the start, we actually played like a 3-1-6, which was incredible, which was hyper aggressive. And I think the reason why I've seen Pep do that before with City, we did it against RB Leipzig, actually. The reason why we did that day was because Leipzig came in a back five, and Serbia today came in the back five. You want 6 attackers against 5 defenders. So that's why in those sort of like opening minutes, we had Rice basically being the only midfielder. Sometimes we had Trent going into right wing, actually Saka coming more internally. Very aggressive formation. And that didn't last long. In fact, I liked what I saw. It didn't last long, though. For the most part in that first half, what we actually saw was the 3-2-2-3, which is what City do. That's what Pep do at City. The back three was, and it was a back three, was Gahey, Stones, Walker primarily holding at centre-back. That obviously had some licence to come forwards, as City's centre-backs do as well. But for the most part, Walker was engaged at right centre-back. As I say, Stones at centre-back, Gahey left centre-back. Shout out Gahey, by the way. I thought it was solid, best defender. I thought it was fantastic. I still maintain I think Branthwaite should have gone, but Gahey was brilliant. The two ahead of them, Rice and Trent. We'll get on to why I still don't like that, but it's fine. I still don't think it's perfect, though. There are serious issues. If you watch my How Would Guardiola Set Up England video, you'll already know what those issues are. Ahead of them was Foden and Bellingham. They were. I mean, Bellingham was floating a little bit more, and he wasn't exactly as an out-and-out 10 like a lot of the times he did start a little bit deeper. He actually had more of a free roll. It was quite similar to almost like a De Bruyne in terms of like the freedom he was afforded. For example, his goal actually came from a deeper starting position. That's how he was able to crash the box late on. But for the most part, if we have to lock in what was the formation, it was those two, and then the two ahead of them being Foden and Bellingham. Obviously, we had Kane up top, Saka on the right, and then Trippier holding the width as much as he could do. And that's really why I didn't think it would happen. I thought if Shaw was fit, maybe Southgate would go for it, because I think that would have been great. Obviously, an overlapping fullback. But so I was colourfully surprised when I saw Trippier doing that, because I was like, well, he's obviously not able to do it properly, but by virtue of him just existing and being there, it does mean that Foden can play midfield, and we all know from this season, literally player of the year in the Premier League and one of the best performances, one of the best seasons in respect to performance this season across Europe. So that's a good thing. Getting your better positions into the better, getting your best players into their best positions. Good. And it worked. We were very good in that first half. That is, I think, that is probably the best England have ever looked under Southgate. And you can say it's only Serbia if you want to, but certainly at a tournament, I think that's the best England have looked in that opening half. Not perfect, obviously. There were some issues. We we slacked off a bit in sort of like the last 10-ish minutes. Trent in the midfield, out of possession, was a little bit of an issue. I think for me, I've gone on record saying this, my biggest gripe with Trent is that he's not the best in respect of when the play is not in front of him. He's not the best in terms of press resistance and on the half turn. I thought he did an okay job at it, but Serbia's best chance of that first half was created because Trent wasn't quite able to hold on to the ball and Serbia had a shot. I'm not going to hold it against him, but I still maintain I don't think that's the right play. I still want Trent on the pitch. I still want Trent doing what he did in possession. I don't mind that. I don't really mind that. But I think his starting position should be right back, because I think otherwise it's not, in that first phase of play, like just getting out from your own defensive third, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. But for the most part, it was fine. It was fine. We can definitely get away with that against the lesser sides, but against like a better side, there will be question marks on that. But overall, first half, thought Trent was good. Thought Rice was brilliant. Bellingham, brilliant. Saka, brilliant. Lots of people having a go at Harry Kane. I don't personally have an issue with that because it meant that he was in the box. If he's not getting touches, it means that he is in the box and he's occupying defenders. So I don't really mind that, to be honest. I'm not going to go in on Kane like other people have done, because again, I quite liked his 9 positioning. I don't know if Jude scores that goal, for example, if Kane's doing his dropping deep gimmick rather than being in the box. So I quite liked that. And I feel like I don't want this to be the main topic of the video, but I feel like it has to be. The conversation on Foden, I think, has to be the main topic of this video. I don't think I've ever been so, and apologies if you watched the Watchalong and you weren't enjoying yourself because I wasn't a very good host. I apologize for that. But I don't think I've ever been so annoyed at my chat, to be honest, ever watching a stream. And I'll repeat, I rewatched that first half just to make sure that I wasn't being unfair, or that I was being overly kind to Foden or whatever. I'm not trying to excuse anything in the second half, and we'll get on to the second half in general. But I'm sorry, guys. Foden played well in that first half. He was quite good in that first. I'm not going to say he was brilliant. I'm not going to say he was as good as Rice or Bellingham or Saka. And indeed, our right side was brilliant in that first half. Left side, as we'll get into, wasn't quite as good. But I'm not going to be gaslit into being told that Foden was bad in that first half. And if you think that, please do what I did and rewatch the first half and try to pay attention, because I'm just not having it, to be honest. I actually don't know what people are watching if they think that. We'll get on to the second half, and once again, I'll repeat, bad second half. But first half, no. It was quite tidy in possession. Bellingham was running the show, no doubt. Bellingham was clearly the main man, and clearly the Southgate, the team, have decided that Bellingham is the jewel, and I don't have an issue with that because Bellingham's a wonderful footballer. And I really liked the positions he was taking up in that first half. Again, I liked how he wasn't locked into the 10. I don't think he was playing as high up as I've seen him play for Real Madrid. I liked how he was a little bit deeper. That allowed him to impact the game even more, and I quite liked that from Bellingham. And again, we touched on Saka, who was brilliant as well. Even Kyle Walker on that right side was really good. The whole right side in general was fantastic, to be honest. Did Walker put the ball through to Saka for that? For the goal, or was that a different attack? I've watched it twice and I actually can't remember. There were 2 moments where Walker put in decent balls down that right side. There was another one where Rice did the same as well. That whole right side in general was great. Before we touch on like the Foden situation, let me just like catch up on the chat. So yeah, no worries at all, Matt. It's absolutely fine. Again, don't know what you did, but absolutely fine. Big up to you, Josh. Bucket says, do you blame Foden and Southgate from always underperforming for England? Foden's my favourite City player. We'll get on to Foden, don't you worry. Eden, they played first half well. Agreed, mate. I like seeing Trippier get high on the left wing. Agreed. And Foden put back off the pitch. 100%. Yeah, Eden, that is basically do you want to sit in my chair? Ali says that was dire. Shut up, Fuscan. Expectations are high for the English because your favourites with squad value. We've got a lot of good individuals, that's for sure, Ivan. I don't know if we have the best team, but we certainly have some of the best individuals. Jack says, after tonight, Gahey can continue the really solid performances, and we can move on from Harry Maguire. Yeah, and also Branthwaite coming through as well, Jack. Yeah, Gahey, solid, rock. Thought it was fantastic. Best defender, aggressive, assertive, good compliment to a defender like Stones. Stones and Diaz work well together. There's a reason for that. One's more of a controller, one is an aggressor. Toby said it best, I think. It's like Terry Cavalli. I'm not saying they're of the same quality, but you do need that sort of connection in the centre-back partnership. I really like that. Shimfin says, Trent in midfield died a fast death. Not as flexible as most people thought. Absolutely, it can work. I'd still like to see him at right back, and then the license to drift into the midfield zones rather than an out-and-out midfielder. I just don't think... He's not an out-and-out midfielder, and I can't blame Trent for that. He's not an out-and-out midfielder. But yeah. Hello, Miguel. I felt Foden looked lost at times, looked frustrated, dropped a position, was unable to affect the game. We'll get onto that in the second half, especially Serbia aren't bad to chat. They've got some good quad players, to be fair. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you as always. You're going to take a 1-0. Brilliant. Problem came was he dropped deep in the second half but didn't link up play. Yeah, not wrong, Bengal, in fairness. Foden and Bellingham link up looked promising. It did. Again, that first half hour. Take me back to that first half hour, man. Take me back. Take me back. Cold says he was solid aside from a few stray passes out another play as soon as he centre around Foden. I don't think he needs to centre around him at all, but he does need to be used properly, and we'll get into that in a moment. Don't have the strength for England, says Rich. Brilliant. Why people hate on City players? I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care who they play for. I just watch the game. I like Foden, obviously. He's one of my favourite City players, but I'm not going to protect him if he shits. And I'm not going to... yeah, like there was a terrible pass he did in the second half, and I screamed at him on stream. I was like, that shit, Foden. Like, I'm not going to defend someone if they're crap, but I'm also, at the same time, I'm not going to listen to people's lies. And again, there's just so many lies going around, and I think it's propagated by the Twitter, to be honest. Like, people look on Twitter and they see people having a go, and they then decide, well, he must be playing bad, and then they then adopt that same point of view. I just don't... That's not helpful. That's not helpful. It's not even analysis. That's just... I don't even know what it is. But there we go. Yeah, Gahey was indeed class. As a whole, more optimistic now than I was before the game. Yeah, maybe we can end on that. Right. So let's talk about that then. So, yeah, Foden in the first half was absolutely fine. There was nothing wrong with what he did, to be honest. I thought he linked up the play well. I thought that he and Bellingham had a good connection. Trippier's positioning allowed him to play in the midfield. So people... And that's what I mean. And I was being gaslit again in the chat earlier. Someone was saying that Foden played more on the left in the first half than the second. As I'll show you with the average position situation, that is the exact opposite of what happened. Foden was allowed to play in the middle, and I thought he played well. Was it superb? No. But we have to appreciate that in the first instance it was good. Fine, whatever word you want to use. I'm going to say quite good. If you want to say what would I give it out of 10, I'd say 7 out of 10, for example. 8 is like a good, 9 is a brilliant, whatever. I'd personally give it like a 7. I think that maybe that's because Saka and Bellingham were so good that people therefore look at Foden and go, well, why aren't you playing as well? And then they downgrade him a little bit more. But that's not fair or how ratings should work. Was he fantastic, exceptional, sensational? No, but he was absolutely fine. I can't remember him doing anything wrong in that first half. Outside of, to be fair, early on he did slightly miss. So the ball, I think the ball was played into him by Bellingham. Foden in the box with his right foot, couldn't quite control it, but the idea was there, and that was a really good move by England, and I was really happy with that move by England, because again, we're getting into some good positions, showing how Foden and Bellingham can be a dangerous combination together. But the reason why, so let's, in the first instance, hopefully no one here thinks that Saka was so good. Did you watch the same game? Yeah, he was. First half, he was brilliant. What? First half, he was brilliant. Yeah. I'm strictly talking about the first half right now. By the way, guys. But yeah, first half, he was brilliant. I thought lots of England players were very good. Yeah, and part of the reason why Foden was allowed to do that, and again, hopefully we can now accept that Foden was actually quite good in that first half. If anyone here still thinks that, I implore you to go rewatch the first half, because... No, yeah, guys, I'm specifically... No, let me go on record right now. Everyone was shit second half, apart from Rice and Bellingham, maybe. And Gahey, to be fair. Everyone else was either or shit, to be frank. I'm specifically talking about the first... We're doing it chronological. I'm just talking about the first half. Hopefully we can all agree now that Foden was actually quite good in the first half. I'm not having this weird idea that he was actually bad. I don't know what those people are watching. I accept, compared to someone like Saka or Bellingham, who did play brilliantly well, maybe. But again, we've got to look at the context. Why was that right side so much better than the left? It's pretty simple. We had, on the right, we had, whatever you think of Walker, he can be decent going forward, certainly relative to a centre-back in general. So what did we have on the left centre-back side? We had Gahey, who was brilliant defensively, but obviously he's not as much of a forward player as a Kyle Walker. So even though I don't particularly rate Kyle Walker this season, he's still better going forwards than the Gahey. So that's the first point. So immediately the right centre-back's already going to be providing more support, as we saw by the ball that Walker put through to Saka for the ultimate goal. The second point is that Saka is, in general, just... he's a winger. So, of course, he's going to play well at right wing. So, of course, that's going to happen. Those are the two main things. Let's compare that to the left hand, and obviously, and then you've got Bellingham more so in the right central midfield zones. And again, he's very good in that 8-10 position. He's an 8 who can play brilliantly well as a 10. Now let's compare that to what was going on that left hand side. We had, again, Gahey at left centre back, not as good coming forwards with the ball. We had Trippier at left wing in that first half, basically being like Gvardiol. Took up good positions, but this is not Luke Shaw, and this is not Gvardiol, and this is not a player who is comfortable bursting forwards and overlapping in a similar manner to how, or attacking like a winger would, or even an overlapping fullback, because he's a right-footed right back playing at left back. I appreciate that has to be the case because Luke Shaw's injured. So, and for some reason we didn't bring another left back. But obviously that's going to impact whoever his midfield partner is, because there's no one to bounce off. So the positioning was good, and it allowed Foden to do his work centrally, but it meant there was basically no connection between the two. I'd love to see. In fact, can I bring it up? I'd love to know what the passing network, etc. was like for that. Let me just see if I can very quickly bring that up. I might not be able to. I don't know if I'm going to have the data. Will the data be available? Will the data be available? Let's have a look. See. Where can I have? No. Oh, wrong. Sorry. I'm such a professional, guys. Bear with me. That was the wrong profile. Do we have England's passing network? We do. Okay. Is that what I'm after? Right, okay, sort of, right. And I had to get this on screen now. One sec, guys. I'm such a professional. Right. No, I don't want that. Hello? I want this. God, this is a shambles. How do I get this on my screen? One sec, guys. Bear with me, guys. This will be worth it. This will be worth it so I can illustrate my point. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to do the long way. I'll save that. And we'll pop it there. And now I will add it. Here we go. I've done it, guys. I'm such a talented streamer. There we go. Shout out Mark Stats on Twitter. Right, get rid of the Serbia passing network. We don't need to know about that. There we go. Right. Shout out Mark Stats. There we go. Right. This illustrates my point. I promise I've not even looked at this, so the data clearly illustrates what I was saying. Look at the passing network between our left centre-back our left winger, and our left central midfielder. Look at it. Oh, you can't, because it doesn't exist. Look at that right side. Walker, into Bellingham, into Saka. Sorry, into... wait, who's the 8? Sorry, who's at 8? Not Bellingham. Trent, sorry. Walker, Trent, Saka. Look at the left side. Look at the connections between Gahey and Trippier, or the lack therein. Look at the connections between Trippier and Foden. Doesn't exist. Look at the connection between Gahey and Foden and Trippier and Foden. It doesn't exist. So, I wonder why, in that first half, he still played fine, but it wasn't brilliant. It's because it's almost disconnected. This is very similar to an issue that City had very early in the season between Walker and Foden, actually, where there was very little activity in respect of the passing network. And it's the same... This perfectly illustrates my point. That being said, the first half was absolutely fine from him. Let's move into the second half now. Let's move into the second half, and then I'll look at your guys' comments. Apologies for that. If you're enjoying, by the way, please leave a like on the stream. I appreciate these won't be as popular as City Post-Mortems, but we still have over 50 people watching, so thank you guys for that. Second half. We changed... Many things changed. In the first instance, we changed our build-up. So we had like a 3-2 system at the start in the first half, then we went to a 2-2. I don't know why we did that, but that basically meant that Serbia found it so easy to just move forwards and advance and press us and deal with our attempts to play out from the back. It got to the point where we didn't even bother to play out from the back in the second half. Pickford, how many times did Pickford launch it? We've got players who are more than capable of playing out of a press, but for some reason, I'm assuming Pickford's been instructed to punt it up to Harry Kane. It just seemed... It's like that's very Man United. You know, when they've got like Onana and Martinez and Mainu and all these players who want to play it from the back or whatever, and they just launch it up to Højlund or whatever. It's very counterintuitive in respect of how I'd expect England to play and set up. You give away the ball from the goal kicks, you give away control. Obviously. So we didn't have a foothold in the game, and something even worse happened though in the second half. And again, I thought everyone apart from Bellingham and Rice played badly in the second half. Even Saka played badly in the second half, who was brilliant in the first half. Look at this, guys. The white is the first half, the black is the second half. This is why that chap who was telling me that Foden played more on the left in the first half compared to the second, I've actually no idea what he's talking about. Look at this. Look at Trippier's positioning. Look at the number 12. In fact, can I... One sec. I think I can do a thing here. Windowed project. Yeah. Here we go. I can do something here, guys. Can I? Oh my god, this is such a shambles. Where's my thing? Right, all my software's broken. God's sake, that's really frustrating. I can't show you. Look at the number 12, basically, guys. Trippier's positioning. Look at where he is in the first half. Look at the width he's providing. What does that mean for the number 11? It means that he can drift inside. The number 11's Foden, by the way, obviously. Look at the second half positions. Look at how deep we are. We basically revert to a back four. So what do people want Foden to... Oh, okay, right, I figured it out. One sec, I'm so talented. Right. I can do this. Here we go. Look at... Fucking hell. It's shambles. Look at this. Oh, piss off, is it not working? Right, okay, guys. Failed experiment. I'm such a fraud. Apologies. Yeah. What am I trying to say here? This technical issues fucked me over. We dropped deep. We dropped too deep, is what I'm trying to say here. if the left back goes from the initial left wing position up to back to left back, what do people think is going to happen? What do people actually anticipate will happen? Oh, it means that Foden is now going to have to play basically at left wing, which is mental, because we all know that Foden's not a winger. So that, guys, is ultimately why he was so shit in the second half. And indeed, every England player was shit apart from Bellingham and Rice, but Gahey basically. So no shit, he was shit. He was shunted out to the left. This is not new information. If you're a City fan or you've watched City this season, and you'll hopefully know this, whenever Foden was shunted out to the left, he didn't play well because he's not a winger. So, of course, that doesn't excuse him from playing badly in general, because he did play badly. But I think we do need to at least not be so silly as to think about, well, why is that happening? Why was he actually quite good in the first half, but the second half just no? Why? And it's because of that fact. It is because he was taken from a position where he was actually doing quite well in the midfield and then played out on the left side. So no shit, Sherlock. Of course that's going to happen. Foden the left or Alvarez as a 10. I probably hate Alvarez more so as a 10 because at least if you're on the wings, you're not really negatively you're not doing any. If you're bad on the wings, you're at least not negatively impacting the side. Whereas if you're bad in the middle, that's a bigger issue. That's a bigger concern. Hello, Evie. How you doing? So, yeah, I'll repeat, guys. Look, and in fact, just the team generally. Just the team generally. Look at how deep we are in comparison. That's 1 point to pick out, the Foden situation. But just everyone in general just backs off a lot more. And we played so conservatively in the second half. And this is what I mean. This is why I was so disheartened. Because Southgate went backwards. I don't know why we did that. I don't know why we were so negative. I understand why we brought on Gallagher. Because the idea is to have more legs in the midfield, more defensive work. And he won some fouls and that was fine. But his positioning wasn't particularly good either. And I don't think that's the solution. So, the gap from the defensive midfield in the second half, yeah. So, I'm totally pushing back on the whole Foden was crap all game situation. That's bollocks. I'm sorry to sound arrogant, but if you think Foden was bad in that first half, then you didn't watch properly. I apologize. No, I don't apologize if that comes across as arrogant. I just think that's true. I don't think you watched it properly if you think that. I'm just not having it. I just think that, actually, again, on the watch-along, I try to put this point of view across, and I actually think it worked successfully for the most part, but then the second half happened, and then it was like, oh, Foden's been bad the whole game. Like, no, the second half doesn't impact his first half performance. Let's calm down. They are two separate halves, literally. That's why one is the first, one is the second. So, yes, so that was a big issue. And yeah, so just the lack of bravery, I think. We also are out of possession situation change. In the first half, again, we said it on stream, England normally press out in a 4-4-2. I was surprised to see us press out in a 4-2-3-1. What happened, again, very aggressive. Good, I like it, front foot. Second half, we were so passive and so deep, and our wingers were instructed to drop Saka and Foden, and we went to a 4-5-1 out of possession. And I just thought that was such a negative move, because it meant, again, we had no foothold in the game. Pickford constantly punting it up to no one. Kane sometimes winning it, but ultimately and overall, it just wasn't it, to be honest. I don't think that, I've talked about the first half, I don't think we should be overly harsh on Kane, but if we are picking out if we're picking out a forward who's the worst on the pitch, I'm amazed that people are talking about Foden. I'm amazed. Yeah, ultimately, that's a good point. I probably should be doing something with the England tops. I'm amazed we're talking about Foden, not Kane. I can't quite believe it. And hopefully this will put to bed any silly notion that Foden is protected and that, oh, he doesn't get treated the same way whenever he plays poorly. He played well in that first half. He played quite good in that first half, and Twitter, the internet is destroying him. And I just think it's so counterintuitive and so lazy. I was going to call it lazy analysis, but it's not even analysis. It's just wrong. It's just so wrong. And I just hope that, so even in my Discord server, I'm disappointed with some people. It's just, well, to be fair, maybe they were drunk, but it's just wrong. I don't know what else to say other than I'm not even going to argue. I'm not even going to argue the point because it's just an incorrect thing to say. So that's my sort of thoughts on the Foden situation. Let me know if you guys have got any comments or thoughts on anything. Rice and Bellingham was good today. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Rice was... Second half, Rice was unbelievable, to be honest. Rice was unbelievable. Pickford was rushed. Says family, he just needs to calm it down and actually play out from the back, I think. Saka, decent... No, Saka was very good first half. I'd say brilliant, but the second half, yeah, was not it. We lacked creating chances. 5 shots all game. Can't believe we crossed the ball. No one's at the back post. We should have killed the game. And the first half, and Foden should have had a goal. If Walker just plays it across to Foden, he's got a tap in. There's a moment where Saka plays the ball across, and Foden would have had a tap in if he was just found. And then people are having if Walker just plays that ball across, people are having a totally different conversation because Foden would have scored a goal. It's just silly to me. Why is everyone so negative? We won. I'd rather win 1-0 than be ripped for a high line, says Andrew. I'm just negative about the second half performance, to be honest. First half, I'm so happy with that first half. If Southgate plays Foden centrally on the right side of the pockets next to Jude, he'll perform better. Jude's best traits is those incredible runs he makes, playing as an 8. And to be fair, a lot of that good work was as an 8, to be fair. I think Foden doesn't realise how good he is. Maybe it's the Guardiola system where everything revolves around control and he becomes too cautious. He was class as a left wing. Yeah, well, even then, his best work came when he was allowed to drift inside rather than just hug the touchline and play out on the left. And that's that. And this is the thing: when Shaw ultimately comes back, we will have some natural width out on that left side. And no offense to Trippier, but Shaw will come in, and it'll mean that Foden doesn't have to feel the need to drift off to that left side. In the meantime, while Shaw isn't fit, what I think we need to do, and I know Walker played well today, but I still think we need to drop him, get Trent at right back, get Gordon at left wing, get Foden into midfield, where he can flourish and play well and play good as he did so in that first half rather than the second. It says because Trippier and Gay both being right-footed. Exactly, Aiden. And again, it's not their fault. I'm not saying it's their fault, but the reality... But this is staggering. And it's not their fault. And I'll repeat. Gahey is not as progressive as Walker. Trippier is not a left winger. He's not even a left back. It's not their fault. But it is an issue. Fundamentally. It is an issue. And there is a reason why our right side, even in the first half where I thought we were good overall, everything was coming down the right. Because it was Walker, it was Trent, it was Saka, and Bellingham as well. In that first half. Conversely, nothing was going on the left. And once again, it's because of profiles. It's not necessarily anyone's fault, apart from maybe Southgate's for not taking enough left backs / left-footed defenders. But it's whatever. Ultimate says it all makes sense. The first half was Pep tactics, second was Ten Hag's. And that's why we look so good, because it was literally just Pep. It was a 3-2-2-3. It looked so good. It looked so nice. But L. Yeah, Southgate should have picked more left backs, to be honest. It's a shame. It is a shame. Leia says, phone for England, even for us at City, sometimes he forgets how to play football, becomes scared of the ball. It's so infuriating. Is that just me? I can only think of one like brain dead thing he did in that game, and that was in the second half when he should have played a better ball in the attack. Apart from that, again, even in the second half when I thought he was like missing, he was dropping deep and he was asking for the ball when we needed a foothold in the game. So yeah, maybe even I'm being harsh on him by saying he was atrocious, but I'm so just not having it. All right, the first half. Also, the There also the time quite early where if Foden controlled the ball. Yeah, exactly, Jack. And it was a shame. And it was with his weak right foot, so I might let him off a little bit. But people are saying bench him, get rid of him. The moments like that are really good. They are really good, and we need to be able to create them more. Neil says, sure, not natural width. He is. He can play at left wing. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more, says Eden. Yeah, so I'm more frustrated. I'm more frustrated at the reaction to some of our players, to be honest, rather than the actual game. Because I could have looked at that if I was just like watching that as a fan. I could have gone, okay, something to build in the first half. We made mistakes in the second. We can rectify that. I'm just a little bit down in terms of, like, as I say, like I'm so just disappointed in the reaction from some people in my chat earlier in the watch-along or on Twitter, whatever. It's just like analysis is in a scary place if people come to the conclusions that they have arrived at. And maybe the thing I'm most annoyed is I know I'm going to go on like shows next week and I'm going to be asked to justify. I'm going to be saying, Nobbins, Foden was crap, wasn't he? What's going on? And I'm going to have to take an issue with that premise. And then it's going to be this, well, then there'll be an argument for like 30 minutes. I just don't know if I've got the energy for it. It's just so boring. I hoped after this season we were past this. I thought that Foden had proven how good he was. But apparently being the Premier League Player of the Year isn't good enough, and people will still say that he was shit and just lie. It's not even an untruth. I think it's just a lie, because there is no way that you can watch that and be willfully ignorant. You have to be intentionally stating that. You have to be intentionally being deceptive to say that Foden was shit today, including that first half performance. It's just really frustrating, to be honest. In terms of what it means for England overall, I'm going to remain positive and optimistic, and I'm still going to say that I'm going to hope that we play more in that first, in that first 30 minutes or so, rather than the second half, which was cowardly at times and weak. I'm going to be hopeful we can do that. Next game's against Denmark, I think. This, on paper, is our toughest test. I'm hopeful that we will be brave. I'm hopeful that Southgate will not fall into his old ways and just, Gallagher is his new Henderson, isn't it? Do you guys remember at the World Cup where he had the opportunity to bring on like a Foden, but he brought on Henderson and he never looked back, and Henderson started every single game thereafter and offering nothing. I just hope it's not the same. I hope Gallagher is not his new Henderson. He needs to be brave. And Malik Fisham, I thought he actually played all right, to be fair, Musty. But he needs to be brave, Southgate, and he needs to stick to his guns and accept that first half, that is the blueprint. That is how... well, not the blueprint, because I still don't agree with Trent in midfield, but that system is the blueprint, at least, I think. Yes, I do think that. The personnel can change. Tweaks can be made, but overall, we should be looking to play like that going forwards with 2 8-10 players. Hopefully with Shaw coming back. In the meantime, I would, again, I'll repeat, I'd personally, even though I think he played well, get Trent out of midfield, bench Walker, get Trent at right back, get Gordon at left wing. Now we have an actual wide player for Foden to bounce off, and then you'll see him play for good throughout a full 90, to be honest. In that position of his. It's just frustrating because the way that we are setting up is just making some of our better players look bad. I'm happy for Bellingham. Like, they were just talking about it on BBC after. They're like, well, Bellingham, they basically say if Bellingham can do it, why can't Foden do it? Two very different players. I think that the main reason in the first instance is because at no point was Bellingham shoved out to the wings. But in the second instance, Fabregas got it wrong. Fabregas said, well, he played in midfield all game. That's not quite true. I think that it's probably you have a higher floor as a player. Like your floor is higher if you are physically stronger, and you have a more, you have a better physical profile. So Bellingham, for example, like an athlete, long legs, tall, strong. It's just naturally easier for him compared to someone like Foden, who isn't any of those things. To be honest, he's shorter. He doesn't have those long legs. So I do think that it's just naturally easier for an athletic profile, as Neil says, to thrive in an international setup. I think it's easier. Does that make sense? It's easier for a more athletic profile to succeed basically anywhere than it is for someone who maybe isn't. That's why Rice, for example, I think that he is another one who can basically thrive however you play him, no matter what. Someone like a Foden, I'm not saying he's a system player at all, but I am saying that it's not quite as easy for him from a profile perspective to just be dunked in and be expected to thrive without necessarily the appropriate parameters. I'm not saying build a team around him. I'm not saying make him the main guy, give him the keys, whatever. But I am saying that is the explanation for me. Why did Bellingham look so much better today? Because I do think they are similar in respect to quality, whichever you think is better. I personally think they are in the same bracket. I think that's the answer, to be honest. So yeah, that's my thing. I don't agree Foden can only look good on the ball at all. I thought it was actually all right. I thought it was actually all right off the ball, to be honest. I can't remember him doing any defensive errors. I thought it was all right. I hope so too, Lays. I hope so. Casual analysis based around Twitter likes. Indeed. Well, Jack, you and my... I feel like... Jack, what were your thoughts on that earlier? Because I feel like you were one of the only voices of reason earlier when I was watching that game. I was just... I felt like I was just inundated with madness. I just couldn't quite understand what I was watching. Eden says, a social reaction coming from a mile away. Phone's always going to come into heaviest criticism because he's playing in a weird position and everyone's so reactionary. Yeah, but it's so boring, Eden, because if you're not an England fan doing this, then fine. I don't know. Yeah, fine. But if you're an England fan, why are you drawing club lines? It's so boring. I want what is best for England, and I know what is best for England, and it's not dropping Phil Foden. That's just stupid. If I thought the best decision was to drop Phil, I'd say to do it. I'm a City fan. I want Walker dropped. I love Kyle Walker, but I still don't think that's the best play. I'm a City fan. I wanted Rashford in the squad. I want what's best for England. I don't care what clubs they play for. When Rooney scored for England, I'd pop off and go mental because it's England. It's just frustrating, to be honest. I feel like it's got worse in modern times as well. Yeah, it's just poor. Second half, perhaps a Leicester Southgate. Once you go up in the game, yeah, just go, keep going. I thought we'd have learned from the Italy game. Just keep going. Oh, yeah. It's annoying because again, I'll repeat. First half, I thought that was the best Southgate ball. That was the best Southgate ball I've ever seen in the game which actually counted and mattered. Best football I've seen us play. I was so happy. Genuinely, because I was pleasantly surprised. I was buzzing, so positive. Second half, just like, oh, well, I feel like we've gone one step forward, two steps back here, but hopefully not. The blueprint is there. The idea is there. What players work best in that system? What do you mean, Neil? Sorry. Someone gave the keys, give them to Trent immediately. Get him out of midfield and pop him to right back. Pop him to right back, because I thought Trent did some good work today, but there were too many issues defensively, which I knew were going to happen. Get him at right back, allow him to drift into midfield and invert if necessary, but not as an outside midfielder. He's doing his best, but he's not. It's not his game, and we saw that again. We saw that more so in the second half as well. Play for his natural position and he'll be a standout player. Again, we've seen it happen. I think maybe the best I've ever seen of Foden for midfield for England in midfield was the second half against Belgium, I think it was, and he was brilliant and he was rotating with Bellingham and it was fantastic. Need more of that. I'd have been very happy if I saw a repeat of the second half as the first. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just backed off. What was your reaction when England fans booed for no reason when he and Sterling fell out? But who fell out with who, sorry? Who fell out with Sterling? I thought it was Gomez who fell out with Sterling, wasn't it? Oh, Gomez. I didn't even know they booed him, to be honest. I can't lie to you. I didn't actually know that happened. If I did, I forgot him. Individually, these players are amazing, but when they're all together, it's the worst. They can't do it without a manager at the elite level. Yeah, look, this is why, sure, it's great having great players, but you also need a great manager. You need someone to be brave enough. First half, I think Southgate got it right. Second half, no. No. It's musty, brilliant. Nitin says, Chiesa, 1 year left on the contract. You're willing to sell him? It'd be an absolute steal if City can get him this summer. I don't think he leaves Italy, though, does he? Yeah, you are late, I'm afraid, matey. We're about to wrap up, I'm afraid. First half was better, but comparing it to what it could be, I don't know, ID. I don't know, because, again, I quite liked it. If I was Foden, I'd refuse to play left wing for England, says Bucket. Hopefully now, if anyone was of the opinion or view that like Foden was terrible throughout that game or Foden was bad, I'm really disappointed if anyone thinks that still, to be honest. I'll show the images again. I shouldn't really have to say any more. These sometimes what is it they say? A picture speaks 1,000 words. Here's one. But this is it, guys. That's it. This is it. Nothing on the left. Gahey to Trippier, no. Gahey to Foden, no. Trippier to Foden, no. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. And we backed off too much. You enjoyed the first half because we had all the ball. That's the reason. But once Serbia saw we weren't doing anything, they got more on the ball. No, I also adjusted just because we were more we were more aggressive. But the first half, Liam, surely the first half was good. Hopefully we can accept the first half of it. Second half, I totally agree. Bad overall, not good enough. Needs to get on the ball more, etc. Whatever. But the first half, he was quite good. I know you're Foden's biggest critic. Can you at least accept that he was quite good? And can you accept that the reason why he was bad in the second half relative to the first is because of this, and is because of where is it? And it's because of this. Trippier. Look at how high up. I'll repeat, guys. Look at that number 12. That number 12 needs to hold the width. That is the Gvardiol in this system. That is the Joško Gvardiol. That's what Luke Shaw would be doing. That's what Jack Grealish would be doing for City. Because this is the City system, so we're going to talk about City players. Think about how high and wide Gvardiol is. Trippier did a decent job of that in that first half. Look at his position. Look at the number 12 in the second half. Look at it. That's supposed to be our left-sided outlet. That's our left-sided outlet. And it's Kieran Trippier. And it's not there. That's why. That will hopefully come into play when Luke Shaw comes back. But for now, this is what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. Hello, Photon. People tell me I was making an excuse. Yeah, no, yeah. It's just... It's a thing. We are going to wrap up in the next 2 minutes, by the way, guys. Subs were interesting, yeah. He played well in the... That's all I wanted to hear. First half. He played well in the first half. And this is the biggest Foden hater saying that. We love to see that. We really do. We need a dynamic play on the left and not a wide attack. But again, he wasn't even playing on the left in that first half, was he? It's more like left central midfield, to be fair. But I agree that it's not a long-term solution. Shaw needs to come back or get Gordon in the team, drop Walker, Trent to right back. Problem solved. Problem solved. Big up to Hugh. That's my boy. First, I was fine. I wouldn't say the team was good. I don't agree. I think the team was good, to be honest. Yeah, he was brilliant. Yeah, not wrong, Jack. What game are we streaming tomorrow? I agree. Again, I'd like Shaw on the left, if Gordon there, and then again, I'll repeat, get Trent to right back and Foden there. But I'm glad that you can agree that he was good in that first half. Should we even stream a game tomorrow, guys? Aren't they absolutely dead tomorrow? Aren't the games absolutely clapped? Belgium, Slovakia? KDB Doku Ball? Question mark? I'm not doing Romania, Ukraine. I'll tell you that right now. I could do a... I don't mind watching Kevin and Doku. Austria beating France. Shut up. If South Africa plays a natural left wing instead of Foden, we wouldn't need as much from Trippier. And that's why, again, I'd rather one of Gordon or... What's it? Yes to the Belgium game. Belgium wouldn't be bad. Should I do a poll? Start a poll. Watch along tomorrow? Question mark. Belgium versus what is it? Slovakia? Belgium versus Slovakia. Austria versus France. Let's make sure that's the thing. Yeah, Belgium, Slovakia, Austria, France. Right, guys. Poll. Done. The Belgian game is at 5. Austria, France is at 8. FYI. I'm not doing that game. Stop. Would you shut up? Grealish being dropped. Grealish should be in the squad. Can't lie to you. He should be in the squad. God's sake, Bengal. God's sake. Ideal lineup. Pickford. Shaw, Gahey, Stones, Trent, Rice, Jude, Foden / Wharton, Saka, Gordon, Kane. Replace that / get rid of Wharton. We've got a deal, Liam. Gahey was brilliant. Yeah, he was solid. He was a rock. Right. 93%, 81% is Belgium, Slovakia, so it looks like we are going to be doing that game. That's probably better for me, to be fair, because I can actually have an evening with Mrs. Nobbins. So that's probably better for me. I don't know if I want... Again, I'm a little bit depressed about that game. I don't even know if I want to do like a YouTube video analysing it. Just because I'm actually a little bit down about the reaction. I will wear my Belgium kit, absolutely. I'm just disappointed with people actually saying that. But the issue is that people with influence are saying it on Twitter, so people will believe it. And it's just, I just wish I was a more relevant content creator, because then I could actually try to hopefully tell people what the reality is. But there we go. Guys, this is the end of the stream. Thank you for joining me. We've only got 37 likes, though. Can we get to, I don't know, can we get to like 50 or something before we go? There's like over 70 people here. Can maybe like another 13 people hit the like? I understand the England streams aren't going to be as, exciting or interesting to you guys as the City games. My mic volume's a bit too low. Is it just because I'm not near my mic enough? Do I just need to bring my microphone a bit closer? That might be it. It seems to be fine on my... It seems to be fine on my thing. Like, I'm getting into the orange. So, you know, which green is like quiet, orange is like whereabouts you should be. I think my audio's fine. You might just need to turn your speaker up. I don't know. Maybe I'm a quiet boy. Maybe I just need to speak more like this. I don't know. Either way, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow for the Belgian watch along. Musty. Hopefully, like people can chill, and in comparison to other streamers, don't worry about that, because you're not going to be listening to two different people on the same platform, so just turn your volume up for me. It's chill. It's all good. I probably have a softer volume because hopefully, guys appreciate the crispness of the audio quality. You lose that if you pump up the dynamics, so I don't want to do that. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It's been really weird watch along. It's unnecessarily stressful, to be honest. But hopefully you have enjoyed this post-mortem where I was a bit calmer. And hopefully now you are now armed with the information that, well, I wonder why Foden didn't play particularly well in the second half, and indeed everyone that second half, where we changed our formation and we changed our almost like our mentality, and we just backed off a bit. Have a lovely evening, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Belgium, Slovakia for a Doku ball. Goodbye, guys.